Hello and welcome to Star Trek. I'm Rohit Khilnani. Joining us today is Emraan Hashmi. Imran, it's been a long time. How have you been?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Very well. Your fans somehow love it when you play the con man. So this time, what kind of a con man are you?
He's kind of devious. He's kind of immoral and unethical because of the profession he's in.
Right.
But at the same time, he is ethical in the profession, in those boundaries. He never cons women, children. He will con a dishonest guy. So he's kind of a Robin Hood of scamsters. And for the longest time, I didn't want to do a con film. We don't have too many in our country that are made. There are very few films, landmark films in that genre. But the reason I didn't do it is because they don't have, let's say, an emotional context in them. They're very superficially about con and the technicality of con. But this film has its heart in its right place. It's got an emotional story. There's a romance. There's a story about a guru and his student, his disciple. There is this conflict between the hero and the villain, which is a David versus Goliath story. So all these things made it very, very intriguing for me. So yes, the con is one of the most. I mean, I can say this from a place of strength because I've seen the film. It's one of the best con films that you'll see. If not there in our country, you've not seen anything like this.
This is your fourth film with Kunal?
It is, yes.
Okay, and you're doing another one with Mohit also after this?
Yes.
Okay, so many people would say that you play safe and you work with your friends. Is that how it is?
No, I work with people whenever I get a good script, whenever I find someone who's honest, who has a great story to tell. Yes, I have a rapport with some guys, with some directors who I worked with from the first day when my career started. Like Mohit, Kunal, we were assistant directors together. So we've known each other for almost 12 years.
Right.
So it's just that it's easier, it's better because you have a rapport. You have this, kind of like-minded as far as films go. They know what I want as an actor, the kind of space I need. I know exactly what they want, how they want their characters to be interpreted on screen. So it's just, it's kind of, it's a smooth sailing exercise if you're working with friends.
Right. Imran, a lot of times sequels are made for the heck of it. When a casting works, people cast you again. Like Vidya and you worked wonders in your first film, and when in Ganchakar again it didn't work. Why do you think it didn't work this time?
Well, it was a very radical film. If people were expecting dirty picture in Ganchakar, that's their problem. But it was a completely different film, and we were willing to take the chance. I think we were willing to take the risk. We were willing to go with the vision that Rajkumar shared with us. That became our vision. All of us on the team. We could have made it very traditional, and that probably would have clocked in the numbers at the box office. But we tried to do something new. And whenever you do something new, when you try and experiment with stuff, you have the risk of failing even more because you're not going down the cliche path. So you're having a film where you have a hero being slapped around throughout the film who has no memory of where he's kept the money, and then there's no payback in the film. You don't have the hero take the money away at the end. Is for our audience, it might work in the West, but it was a chance we're willing to take. It's not an over-the-top comedy. It's not over-dramatic. Again, not typical Hindi cinema.
Right.
So we were trying something new, and it's fine. I mean, Ganchakar didn't have commercial music. It had great music, but not my traditional commercial music. It didn't have that hero-giri, which generally I do in my films. So all these components somewhere bring in another audience that I think Ganchakar is more an evolved audience that has seen a lot of cinema, more Western cinema would like a Ganchakar. It was for them. It was more of a niche comedy than a mainstream comedy.
Okay.
So I think the trade should look at it that way.
Okay.
But I think, it's good to detach.
Okay.
Because it affects your work. It affects your other films. I'm shooting for film, invariably. So I think that's what keeps me going.
So what's a Friday like? Now Raja Natwarlal releases, what will that Friday be like? What do? You go to the theatres, you track numbers, you read reviews?
I won't leave town and disconnect. Some actors do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that because I'm too connected to the film. I want to know exactly how it's flowing, how things are going through the morning shows, evening, then the next day, and then it doesn't end there, right? On a Monday, you're hoping it doesn't dip too much. If it's a good film, it kind of it's steady, the collections. So I follow that, and I go to single screens, and without disturbing the audience, I go and sit behind and watch the film.
What is it like?
It's
You know,
fantastic.
are you
It can be
nervous?
fantastic or it can be extremely scary.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
things are not right, then you will hear it in a single screen.
Okay.
And that's, I guess, the best learning experience. It's better than any film school.
Right.
Because you have people who pay for tickets
Yeah.
and their hard-earned money, and they'll either praise it, whistle, clap, or they might start abusing you. I've seen both. Jury, they don't see the film like the audience sees it. There's something more real about the audience when they pay the hard-earned money. They're not sitting on their high horse and kind of criticizing a film or kind of ripping it off in a very technical way. They see it in a very different way, the audience, and I like that.
Right. So you said your last film was for a niche audience. Is this your next film, Raja Natwarlal, a commercial
It is.
like the hardcore Emraan Hashmi fans love?
It is. It's got all the commercial trappings. It's got the popular music. It's got the drama. It's got the thrills. It's got the romance. It's got the kisses. It's a gradual transformation. Actually, not gradual. It happens at one particular
You
moment
meet
in the film
someone.
where there's an incident that changes this man. I mean, till this point, there's the girl. He's in love with her. Everything is like pretty traditional. He wants to get married to her, have all the money for her. Things change after an incident. And then it goes into a vendetta story, a revenge story, where he wants to bring this man down who's done this to him. And that's the villain.
Okay.
And he is someone who's worth 2,000 crores. And this man doesn't even have 10 rupees in his pocket. But he wants to strip him of everything that's dear to him, of all the money. And how does he do that? He doesn't know how to do that because he doesn't know the long con. He doesn't know the Badi 400 BC. So he goes to a burnt out con man who's staying in the hills in Dharamshala, who is Paresh ji, who has been, who's done his big scams in his time and who's living a very reclusive life in Dharamshala.
Okay.
So he goes there, he drags him back to the city and says, you know, you've done it before. I want to kill this man in a very different way. I don't want to shoot him. I want to take away all his money. So there the story progresses, and that is versus Goliath phase of the film, where he transforms and he tries to bring this man down.
Nice. Okay, you know, through the promotional phase, I saw you on various shows promoting the film. You seem to be enjoying this. Is this a new change, Emraan Hashmi?
It is. I think it's very important to start marketing.
Right.
I've always, I've not been too eager or into that whole thing of marketing before this, but because you gotta just change the terrain. Yeah, I mean everyone is doing it and everyone is shouting. So if you don't shout, you'll get lost.
Right.
And you have to be heard, and even more so now because there's a clutter of films. There's stuff on television, and you have to just take your film out there and sell it. It's become as important as making a good film. Because if you make a good film, no one knows about it. They're not going to. I mean, it's about getting those people in on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then there's another phase of people like the film, and then it goes on to clock in the number.
You do the promotions very well, I saw. Do you enjoy it as well?
It's okay. It's all. I mean, I'm pretty neutral to it. It's not that I enjoy it too much, but it's something that you have to do.
Right.
I could live without it. I would love this experience of making a film, and it goes out there, and people
Makes noise
kind of
on its
consume
own.
it and makes enough noise on its own. But unfortunately, that can't happen.
Right,
So-
we are glad you do promotions. That's why we get to interview you. Imran, we saw recently yours and Mahesh Bhatt's out and out war on Twitter. So what was this? Who started it?
What's up, started it? Or probably I started it. I don't know.
You started it off Twitter and he started it on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it was not something that I kind of deliberately did. It's just that things were not going as planned this year because of personal reasons and stuff.
Right.
And schedules had to be switched. They had to be switched around. Things got delayed, and it so happened that my film was releasing on this 20th August from the beginning of the year. There's another shoot of his, which is Mr. X, which has actually been has not spilled over, but it's come into this month, into this marketing of this film. So I'm kind of trying to juggle both these things together. Obviously, you can't keep everyone happy.
Right.
Sometimes, as a producer who's waiting for me on a film set, I might get delayed because of marketing a film. And that was the point of conflict.
That ticked him off?
Yes. No, I've not cancelled anything. I made up for it.
Right.
After I finished my marketing, I went back and I shot for it. Because we have a crew from America they've come to shoot the film. They leave actually on the 26th of this month. So it's not one of the schedules which could have been pushed ahead because it's a 3D crew. It's a 3D film. But I think we'll manage. We'll manage. We're trying to kind of almost work double shift
Right.
and work around 18 hours to complete both.
Right. Okay, this has been a love-hate relationship for a long time, and then you said, "What's up? Agli baar, please pick up the phone and abuse me. Twitter के वजह से बहुत तमाशा हो गया है. I have contacted Oxford Dictionary and told them to add the word Twitter happy."
Yes.
So what was his reaction to that? We didn't see
I
that.
don't know. I didn't check his reaction. I put it up and then I went and I actually shot for Mr. X that day.
Right.
But yeah, it's become absurd because it's the conversations on Twitter, but he didn't really tell me.
Okay.
He's not spoken to me yet about it.
After that, you all haven't spoken.
No. We've just had this thing on Twitter. I've not read some of his tweets. I've heard about them from journalists actually.
Right.
And I put up these tweets and yeah.
It's a
I'm
great.
going to actually meet him today.
Okay. Great. It's a great relationship where you know he's your mentor, he's your uncle. So what will your reaction be when you enter the office and you know he's upset?
He does. I mean, he's not upset for very long.
Okay.
Yes, rightfully so. I think any producer, not just him, would be concerned about their own project. If the actor is going and working somewhere else and marketing the other film, and they have a crew that has to leave, it's understandable the way he's feeling.
Right.
But we've tried to kind of make amends and kind
Right.
of sort it out.
Nice. Imran, the numbers are just growing by the week. By every Friday, Singham Returns is still at the theaters. It made 100 crore in 5 days. When you do these things add pressure on someone like you who is known to get the numbers?
I've never really thought about the numbers. For me, there's a very different way that I look at a benchmark for a film and a success.
Which is?
It's not just the numbers. I mean, we know sometimes a film might clock into 100, 150 crores, but it is purely on marketing steam, right? And probably that film is made for 90 crores. It doesn't make much money, which people don't know about, right? They have spent so much on marketing to push the film, and it evaporates from the consciousness of the audience in 3 days.
Right.
So is that a successful film, or a film that makes 60, 70 crores? But after 10 years, you'll pick up the DV and watch this film and probably recommend it to your kids. So what is the benchmark of a successful film? It's not that 100 crore film. I would say it's the 50 crore film.
Right.
So everything should not come down to the money in box office.
Right.
Because there's also return on investment.
Right.
If a film is made for 10 crores and it makes 100 crores, that's a bigger success than a 200 crore film that's made for 100 crores.
True, yeah.
So all these things people don't know. I think every time they put up the advertisement for a film is made 150, please put the budget of the film and see how much the actors have taken, how much the film is made for, and how much the marketing budget is. The marketing budget might be 5 times that of a smaller film.
True.
No one sees that.
When it comes to return of investments, yours are the biggest hits. So, but when we talk about the biggest hits, they are, of course, films with other stars. Do you feel sometimes that, people have to know this, that, people should know this? That
I think people do, and people really don't see the films that way. I mean, yes, the trade picks this up because unki dukaan hai, usko chalana hai, to wo trade figures dalenge. And I think each to their own. I mean, it depends what an actor's thing is, what he's here for. I've always been seen as a very destructive actor for myself. People don't understand that, and I'll still keep doing it. I will do a film that will clock in the numbers, but I will do a niche film after that.
Right.
I don't want to chase the figure. So if I was the guy who was constantly chasing the figure, I would be the other actor who would not do a woman-oriented film. Right? Who would not do a film like Shanghai. I would do those films. I'm doing another film with Danish Stanovic, which is an international film, which again is a niche audience. Why did I give 100 days to that film to shoot? I could have given it to another sequel and gotten those numbers.
Right.
But it doesn't keep me happy. So it depends, each to their own, and everyone has their own way of functioning.
Okay. One is, do you read reviews or watch reviews? And if you do, what do you pick up? Do you pick up and take something constructive out of it?
No, I don't actually, yeah.
You don't?
I sometimes do. I sometimes do. If there's a newspaper there, if it's the film is released and if it's there, I might just pick it up and read it. I won't call for all the newspapers, watch all the channels and see all the reviews and see how the film has been liked or disliked. Because it's not really that. I mean, it's one person's opinion. Okay, I've already got different opinions from people by then. The audience gives their opinion on a Friday, Saturday. You understand fairly of how a cumulative audience sees and their opinion matters to the film.
Right.
Maybe sometimes I might read a review. As far as the performance goes, as far as the way the film has been made, I might read it as a sometimes.
You know, when a film is being made, when you're shooting the film, you're in the middle of it, do you get a feeling this is working or this is not working? Do you understand sometimes?
Sometimes I've felt the film is not working on when I'm making it.
Exactly. You know, when it's working, it's great. When you get this feeling it's not working, what do you do?
You know, but the irony is sometimes I felt the film is not working and the film works at the box office.
Okay.
And sometimes I feel I'm making the best film ever.
Right.
But things don't work out. I mean, the other film fails on a marketing level. There's so many variables.
Sure. Okay.
The film might probably come at a time when there is this, you know, a lot of films releasing and it just gets lost in the crowd, or it doesn't get really registered.
A lot of things.
So you know, you really don't know. But I know when a film has gone wrong when I see it.
Right.
And if I've not enjoyed it. And it's one of those feelings where you don't, you know, it's even scarier when you know, we don't know what's wrong with it, but it's not just pushing the right buttons.
Right.
Like, Raja Natwarlal gave me an extremely positive reaction when I saw the film.
Right.
I wanted to see the film again. I knew the script, but I wanted to see it again.
Right.
And you'll understand it when you see the film.
Okay.
It's a very powerful film. It's what entertainment should be. It's sensible. It doesn't think the audience is a fool. It respects your intelligence, but at the same time, it gives you that masaledar entertainment that people crave for.
Right.
You know, the kind of escapism that we crave for in our country.
Right. Great. Best of luck for Raja Natwarlal. It was looking like a commercial film, like you earlier said. So hope it does very well again.
Thank you so much.